All right, folks, I know this might not be the most popular opinion, especially among some of you, my loyal followers of this channel, of solar in general, but I've got to admit something. To a certain extent, in fact, to a large extent, President Trump actually does have a pretty good point when it comes to the Green New Deal. If you would, let me explain. Coming at this as an insider, a solar guy, right? Someone who's been in this business for years, there's a lot of things that I see that I think a lot of people don't. And although I fully support renewable energy, it goes without saying, I fully support solar, it goes without saying, and I absolutely see the future that solar represents, I also see the flaws in the way that they're going about it. The Green New Deal, I mean, the reality is it is packed with bureaucracy, it's packed with waste, inefficiencies, layers and layers of red tape. By the time any sort of funding or support, makes its way to the businesses that actually create jobs, businesses like ours, years have passed. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years just to get some sort of clear guidance from the federal government about rules that they made 2 or 3 years ago. Right? And it's been filtered through, by the time it reached you, it's been filtered through countless kind of government departments and government agencies, and then these quasi-governmental agencies and these volunteer boards. And all of these folks, all of these actors along the way are rife with special interest considerations, with lobbyists, with people kind of pulling in every direction where this money should eventually go. And this ultimately leads to headlines like Solyndra, companies like some of the big ones that have gone out of business lately, who ultimately benefited from some of these Green New Deal plans, but ultimately didn't create a whole lot of local jobs at all, and ultimately aren't able to contribute to the economy at all anymore because they went belly up once that free government money ran out. I mean, here's the real truth. The real truth of it is solar does not need incentives to survive. It doesn't need tax credits. It doesn't need grants. It doesn't need subsidies. It does not free money. What it does need is a level playing field, right? Where every energy source, coal, nuclear, wind, oil, natural gas, we all compete under the same rules, a same level playing field. No unfair tax breaks, in fact, no tax breaks, period, for the people that are involved, no cash, no handing out, no grants, no subsidies. If we can have a truly level playing field, just a fair shake at the whole thing, if we get that, solar is going to be the cheapest 10 out of 10 times. Solar can compete, and solar can be better than all the other sources combined. But here's the thing, solar is not the end-all be-all. The sun does only shine for half of the day, right? We're crystal clear on that. So let's talk about oil, right? So I know the phrase drill baby drill strikes a chord of fear with a lot of people, myself included, especially we live here in Florida. Several years ago we had an offshore oil drilling bill that thankfully got defeated. That concept is terrifying, especially, for those of us here in Florida. That being said, oil is not going anywhere. It is powering today's economy, whether we like it or not. But it's not going to last forever, and we need to be smart about using the oil and the way that our infrastructure is built today to transition our ultimate end goal, which is more renewables and sustainable power sources, right? If you've seen the new show Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, I've actually got a video coming out on that as well. They really nail the point. And the point is oil is necessary today, but it's not going to last forever. And that's the key. Now, I'm not anti-oil, right? To be clear, I own a Tesla. I have a Tesla, but I also have a Ram 3500 pickup truck, dually pickup truck, right? There's no doubt about it. Just from a strictly spreadsheet standpoint, my Tesla is infinitely cheaper to run than my dually is, right? Especially because my Tesla is powered by the sun, right? So my neighbor charges his Tesla at 14 cents per kilowatt hour. I charge my Tesla at about 2 cents per kilowatt hour. But there are times when only my truck can actually do the job, right? And that's the beauty of America. It's about making the choice that works for you. But here's where I draw the line. Mandates, right? Mandating, forcing electric vehicles on individuals or even on municipalities simply doesn't work. Mandating renewables, as much as I'm a renewables guy, I mean, I think that goes without saying, it simply doesn't work. What mandates do is they burden the taxpayers without really addressing the real issues on the ground, and they create these endless bureaucracies, and you know as well as I do that bureaucracies usually serve one purpose, and that's to perpetuate their own bureaucracy, right? If a city wants to switch to electric vehicle fleet because they think it makes economic sense, good for them. But if the numbers don't add up, citizens should hold their elected officials accountable. It's as simple as that. Same goes for if the city wants to have an all diesel fleet. Again, if the numbers hold up, apples to apples compared to an electric fleet, then the citizens should be able to hold them accountable for that and not be suffering from a mandate of one group of elected officials making a decision for everybody else, that's involved in the entire process. I care about conservation, right? From a personal standpoint, conservation is essential. Again, here in Florida, we want to see our lands and our waterways protected for future generations. But that doesn't mean that we should accept these bloated policies that don't even help the average person. Policies that create more bureaucracy and more red tape and more, of these self-serving institutions than they do with actual solutions that happen in a timely manner and actually benefit the taxpayers and the residents in a timely manner. The truth is, renewable power, it isn't the end-all be-all, right? Is it the cheapest? It really is. Dollar for dollar, pound for pound, it is the cheapest. But solar is amazing, right? It's cheap, it's elegant, it works. But it's not the entire energy mix, at least not yet, and not for the foreseeable future, not in my lifetime. For most people, solar and battery storage can be a big part of the solution, especially because solar can actually be developed right there at the point of consumption. So we're producing it on the rooftop, we're consuming it in the house. We basically don't even need to interact with the electricity grid. But that's not to say that it's viable for every business or every home, right? Condos, I could go down the list of people that solar simply is not viable for. I support shaking things up, and President Trump's policies do help streamline this bloated system. If they do that, I'm all for it. And here's the beauty of democracy. If things go too far off the rails, the next president can come in and reverse the things that don't work. Here's the bottom line. There's a difference between supporting American oil for the benefit of American taxpayers versus just a handful of corporations. And that's what we saw with the Green New Deal, in my opinion. A handful of corporations saw a big boom from the Green New Deal, but most taxpayers, most residents didn't really see much at all. It did bring in American manufacturing, which we like to see. And if we can create policies that truly benefit the average taxpayer, whether it's for renewable power or oil or coal or whatever the case is, then I'm on board. But if it's just about helping big corporations, then we really need to take a better look. So I'm a solar guy through and through. There's no doubt about it. So Sailfish Solar is on the sign, but I also believe in balance. Renewables have a big role to play, but they're not the only answer. Let's build a smarter, a fair energy future together that has a smart balance to the whole thing, the whole mix all together. So anyway, that's my take on it. Honestly, I think President Trump is actually right on a lot of this stuff. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, and if you think you have math, because I'm one of those radical Americans that actually can change my opinion based on evidence. If you think you have math to support, whatever it is that you disagree or agree with what I said here, drop in the comments below. I'd love to keep a conversation going. Again, we can change the course that we're on when we're presented with new evidence. And the evidence shows right now that renewables are the cheapest, but they also show that they're not the end-all be-all at this exact moment in time in our country's history. So that's it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'd love to hear what you think about this.